First degrees, second degrees, master's, PhD, you name it. With the number of graduates we have on the streets today looking for work, many of them with PhDs and all whatnot, it begs the question what the relevance is of our university degrees. Stay tuned. You're here with Auntie O, and we're having a real conversation. Thank you. Some years ago, I remember going for, I was invited for lunch with my daughters, and there was this British couple, elderly couple, invited us for lunch to their house after church. So when we went there, I remember they were asking me what I do and what about the rest of my family. So I told them, yes, I'm an accountant, my sister's a doctor, my brother's a dentist, my other sister's a solicitor. And they said, oh, that's a typical Nigerian family. You guys are so educated. And I think we've heard it over and over where people have said, Nigerians are some of the most educated people in the world. I think it's something that we've been proud of over these years. It's a good name. But just looking at the trend of where things are in terms of the future of work, the future of business, is this sort of educational pursuit, is it still the right way to go? Thanks for joining me. Real Talk with Auntie O. I'm doing a series on the future of Nigeria. So I'm a Nigerian. I've lived in Nigeria, now I live in the UK, and I'm just looking at the future of work, of technology, and just seeing where gaps may exist, where our thoughts, our thinking pattern is to change in Nigeria. And today, right now, I'm focusing on educational degrees. Okay, so yes, like I said before, historically we've pursued university degrees, and families and people will try to get into the core. So it's either medicine, law, engineering. Accounting was for those of us that didn't fit into the main, those ones. And and anything else roughly is just, you're going to the university and because it's a stage in life, and that because you must go to the university. And this is really important, right? I'll talk about this later in this video, but we see it in stages that you finish your primary school, you go to secondary school, and then the next thing is you must go to the university. And the thing is, it is some of us that are trapped. So I'm talking about Nigerians now. It's the people in the middle that are really trapped in this cycle, if you think about it. So when I think about my family in the village, those ones, they have their trade. Some are fishermen, farmers, whatever it is that they do, and their children grow up and they mirror what they see their parents do. So for a lot of them, they don't have this problem that we have where you're going to go get one master's after the other PhD. No, it's a few of them that may break out, maybe because they left the village, when they stay with someone, that person exposed them to this whole educational path. But those ones, I think pretty much they've got their path mapped out for them, if you think about it that way. And then you've got the really, really top society people who have millions already stolen or saved or worked out for their generations. And those ones, the kids might go to school just to fulfill our righteousness, but they go into some sort of business. They've got the backing, the financial backing, and they're not really doing all of this schooling because they need a job. So there is the majority of the population in the middle. These are the people who would see the degrees, the university degrees, as a way of obtaining a job. And over the years, the bar just keeps getting higher and higher. So I remember when I finished school, I think in 2000, and so university in 2003, 2004, first degree. At that time, you could get a comfortable job, in the bank. I think we got jobs in the bank, most of us. You could get a decent paying job at the time just with your first degree. But you see, the forces of demand and supply is what is at work here, where then the more degrees are available. So now, I take you back. So when my father had this degree very early on, but there were so few at the time that had those degrees then that they were headhunted in university. So I think his first job was with Deloitte. So Big Four, I don't know where they were that time. I think they called them some things, but Deloitte. And they came to, so he studied accounting and they came to school. So before they finished school, they already had their job offers. And as more people started having university degrees, obviously the competition gets fiercer because there is more supply than there is demand. And in my time, first degree was okay. It wasn't, you didn't have to do the masters. Yes, people went on to do masters, but it wasn't popular. So this was 2004. So that's about 17 years ago. It wasn't that of a big deal. Yeah, those that could afford it would, have a master's degree. Some people went straight to work and then went to do their masters, and a lot of people opted to do the masters abroad and then come back to the work that they were doing. At the time, it wasn't a big deal, the whole masters thing, but nowadays you've got people who have one masters and another and a PhD and still back on the job market. So I saw a post. So there's a few posts I've seen recently that have kind of made me talk about this. So there was one, and this person says, oh, my uncle, he's got a first degree in a course, another first degree in another course, and he's got a master's and he's got his PhD, but he's looking for work and he's happy to do any kind of work, even clerical work. And I think, how bad has it become that after all these degrees, this person has not managed to build a career? Because to be honest with you, I think your university degree should really help you build a career. Otherwise, it's pointless. When I think about when I got my first job, so, first corporate job, but it was customer service in a bank. If I look at, objectively, so let's put aside everything that we know about, it's a graduate role. Is it really a graduate role? I don't think so. So customer service, what did we do? We opened accounts for customers, check my balance. I don't know what else. I can't remember. It's been so many years, but a GCSE can give you that job. That's the reality, is that, for example, in the UK, those sort of jobs, you don't need anything else apart from your GCSE, maths, English to do those sort of jobs, because there was nothing technical to it at all. We just, customer service, that's all it was. Yes, it was in a bank, but if I think of the 4 years I spent in school, I don't think any of the courses I studied, came into play on that job in any way, shape or form. So you can see that it's the forces of demand and supply that is at play. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm house hunting. I'm looking for a house to buy. I've got £100,000, for example. So I know that my £100,000, it's really small. It's a tiny fraction of, for that sort of investment. But I'm hopeful that I get a one-bed house with it, or maybe a one-bed flat. So I know what my money can buy, right? But then I go to the market, and when I go to the market, I see, okay, one bed flat, £100,000. Whilst I'm considering it, another agent tells me, oh, actually, you could get a 2-bed for £100,000. I'll go, okay. Now my needs are moving from the realm of needs to wants, And then someone else calls me, actually, you could get a 3-bed house. We're not talking about a flat, so a standalone house for the same price. And I'm like, okay. And someone else says, oh, actually, you could get a 4-bed, or you could get a 5-bed, and you don't have to pay anything more. That's what's happening. And somehow, I don't know how this is going to work, that cycle has to stop. It has to be broken. So employers are just getting thirstier and thirstier just because they can. Just because everyone has masters, so why not ask for masters? I'll get more for my money. I mean, you could even open a shop now and get a master's degree holder. Say, no, I want a master's degree holder to sell in my shop or something. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just because the more we feed the market with the supply, then the employers get thirstier. They know that they can get more for their money, so why not? And that's why so there was another post, there was this girl, and she made a post to say, oh, I finished school 7 years ago, I think. So she said, I finished school 7 years ago. I haven't got the job. I've been trying to get a job. I can't get a job, but I want to do a master's, and I need someone to sponsor me 1.2 million naira to do my master's, because I believe that when I finish my master's, I'll get a job. And my comment on that post was something like, in the 7 years, have you just been waiting for a job? And we'll talk about entrepreneurship separately, and I'm happy, like really pleased, a lot of Nigerians are really taking this on, and that's really, really cool. That's really good to see. But this person has waited 7 years, no job, but she feels like if someone is that benevolent enough to throw 1.2 million naira at her, she's going to get a master's degree and suddenly she's going to get a job. Which may or may not be true, but it just tells you how much premium we are putting on this thing, and we are setting the trap for ourselves, because the employers now know that, actually I can get a PhD holder to sit on my kiosk and sell, so why not ask for the best? So they move from the realm of, this is what I need, these are the qualities you need to do the job, to I can have this, so I want it. Okay, one of the things that my daughters are still young. So one of them is in year 8, which is like JSS 2, so really, really young. But I'm someone that thinks far ahead into the future, and just considering her, I'm open to the fact that you might not go to university straight after secondary school. You don't have to. And it's a thing I learned recently. So whilst we were looking for schools for her, I went to a grammar school. And I saw this boy, and he was the top science student. He had won a competition somewhere in NASA in America. They had won some science robotics competition and things like that. And my Nigerian head and everything, I know that's everything I knew. I said that this was 2 years ago. And I said to him, oh, so they were graduating. So what would happen is the graduating students would show the new ones in. So they stayed behind, and we were assigned one person to take us around the school. So I was assigned this guy, which I was really happy about, because he was so smart. And I said to him, oh, what university are you going to? So I was expecting to hear Cambridge or Oxford or one of those top, because that's the only place you can be going to as a NASA competition winner and this expert science, robotics and all of that. And he looked at me and he says, I'm not going to university. And I was shocked. I was like, what? And he said, no, I don't need to go to university. I've got an internship already. I can't remember the place he got the internship, and even if I knew, I don't think I want to call that out. I try to protect people's identity here. But no, he had gotten a fantastic internship with a really, really known space or science, outfit somewhere. And he said to me, so I've gotten my internship, so I'm going to start working and learning on the job. And then at some point, if I want to, then I would do a university degree part-time, online, something, whilst I'm working. I was blown away. And another thing he said, which is really true, is a lot of students, apart from the students with really, really rich parents, you'd have to take a loan to go to university because it's expensive. The tuition is expensive, but then the accommodation is something else. So most students come out of university with a huge loan. I'm talking about 20, 40, 50,000 pound loan already, even more. And so the government starts to deduct that from their pay once they start earning up to a certain amount, and they would pay that up to a certain age and all of that. But this boy said, no, that way I won't need a student loan, because I would learn on the job and school part-time or online or something else. And that opened my eyes right there. Like, we ended up not going to, so my daughter didn't go to that school eventually, but that knowledge was powerful. And I look at my daughter now, and she knows, and we had the conversation when we came out of the school in the car, and I was like, oh, actually, that's something. I never thought anyone finished school and didn't go to the university. I just felt it was what you had to do. You finish school, you go to university, because that's what you do next, isn't it? And no, but there is another way. So the future is digital. It's wonderful. The things I have done with myself in the last few years have changed my life forever. I'm talking about a quick certification. You can just sit in your house and do some certification at your pace. You can do it in 1 month, 6 months, depends on the time you have. You put that and it is actually recognized. And if you think about it, with the way things are going, agile, there is this new technology. Before you finish wrapping your head around it, there's another one and another one. Imagine if you were sitting in school for 4 years, 5 years, learning this technology. By the time you come out, you're a dinosaur, because things have moved on. So this is the future. And we will do well. So I can't talk at a government level, because that's a different ball game. But I'm talking here to individuals, people who would just take it upon themselves to open their eyes and see what's obtainable. I'll talk about this differently, but there is a lot happening, so I want to break this video. I want to cut it now, but stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. And if you ever watch my videos and you like what I say, just put a thumbs up. It really helps. It helps YouTube, and YouTube recommends it to other people as well. But now I'm going to cut this here, and I'm going to continue recording another one where I will talk about the connectivity. So it's amazing what's happening out there. I just want to do it in a separate video. So thanks for listening. Thank you. Bye bye.